Shay Govan, Baylor Softball. Let's start off. First team All-American. I mean, I want to get to know you as a student athlete, but what is it like? Last year, you were second team All-American. I think the most impressive part of that for me is that you kept your foot on the gas. How do you get an accolade like that, being an All-American, and you come back the next year and you actually improve upon it? You don't rest on your laurels. What does that look like?
Just working hard every day. I mean, having the teammates and the coaches and all the resources that we have here at Baylor, it was just I wanted to use everything in my power that I could to just help get myself to the next level and help push the team and push my teammates to be the best that I can be. So that's kind of what helped me get better in my situation too.
What is that, some of the positive experiences you've had on the softball field, what has that done for you and your self-esteem as a person? You've turned into not only you're a great hitter, but you're a clutch hitter now too. You had some amazing, you had huge hits in the postseason. What has that done for you as a person and your self-esteem? Coming through in the clutch on the field, how do you take that into your life off of it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Knowing that I can do it, in those tough moments where your heart rate is up and you're sweating and, all eyes are on you, especially when you get off of the field and not all eyes are on you, but you may have those pressure moments. It fulfills you knowing that you've been through that, even, but on a different stage. And it just gives you like that extra confidence that you need, knowing that you can do those things, even when people are not watching.
You mentioned your heart rate being up. I think that's something people don't know. I learned about doing softball, or about this with softball, just with my coverage of the sport. The moment from the on-deck circle to home plate, walk me through what's going on in your mind. How do you channel your energy?
Oh yeah, for sure. This past season, I learned with Dr. Yarley, and we kind of went through that situation and put into practice how that felt coming from on deck to the batter's box, of course, because all eyes are on you. Whatever you see the situation in front of you, it could be bases loaded, 2 outs, you're down by 1, and it just. I'm just telling myself that I'm better. I'm better than her, and I can do what anything that she throws at me. I know I can hit it. So that's kind of how my mindset is going in there, and just having breathing, taking my breaths, and just focusing in on what I want to hit is kind of how I go into there.
What's a moment, and we've talked about all this great success you've had, but softball is a sport where if you're a 400 hitter, which is like exceptional. A great hitter a lot of times hits 300.
Yeah.
So that's you're successful 1 out of every 3 times you're up at bat. Forgive me for my math,
No,
but
you're
but
great.
it's you're not succeeding every time
Yeah.
you're up there. How do you handle moments of defeat in order to bounce back?
Definitely. When I hit the ball hard and I get out, hey, that's a check in my book. And next time you get up there, the pitcher or the coach, whoever's calling the pitchers, are going to remember that you just hit a ball hard off of her. When it comes to a strikeout or something like that, yeah, that's out the door. Don't even try to think about it. Just think about the pitch maybe that she got me out on, and probably expect that sooner than later. But that's kind of how I go about it. I try not to overthink the game, because as soon as you start overthinking, it turns into turmoil, and you just start to, everything just starts going downhill from there.
You get stuck on repeat.
Yeah.
It's no good.
Right, yeah.
You talked about, we hear this in sports so often, right? Flush it. You got to flush it, like whether it's a loss or a strikeout. What is your practice of just kind of letting that go?
Mine is definitely getting back on the field. Whenever I don't have a good at bat or something happens in that bat, knowing that I have to go back on the field and cheer on my teammates, that definitely gets my mind off of what I was doing, just because, communication in the game is so fast. And so knowing that I can talk to them and laugh with them, or they're making me laugh, knowing that I just did terrible or something, that is kind of what keeps me going and gets my, just makes me reset for the next at bat or in that situation.
Softball continues to grow as a sport. Now we're talking about players like you playing softball after college. What are your plans for life after softball, though? Because now you can continue to play. I got to do the Big 12 with Natasha Watley. She went over to, I guess, China and played for like a decade and loved it.
Yeah.
So the opportunities are there, but post-playing career, What are you looking to do?
So right now I'm getting my master's in public health. So hopefully I do want to go in that realm, possibly do some research. I do want to be like in the medical field in that sense. So not sure what that part's going to look like, but I know that with public health, I can get into that research, get into that side. So that's what I plan on doing.
So do you look at that almost, because I see it as you're serving people. How much does it mean for you? We talk about Baylor, right? Service is a huge part of the mission at Baylor. How moved are you to help people, right? And to get that fulfillment from helping others?
Definitely. And I feel like I got that answer coming in just this summer. Just like actually past last week, I went to Costa Rica with sports ministry, and we were able to build a house for a family in 2 days. And that fulfilled me. And so knowing that I can do that with numbers and research and just changing people's lives, but as a population, not just one or two like we did with that house, I feel like that is, more than you can even ask for.
All right, compare that feeling you get when you're finished the house and all that hard work has come through and you see it there and in a place where they need this, to hitting a game-winning home run in the College World Series.
Honestly, nothing compares to building the house and knowing that someone definitely needs it. We come back to this and to this life, and honestly it's awesome, but knowing that you just helped a family have somewhere to sleep, food on their table, clothes on their back, like just helping them, that I feel like that's more than we can even ask for. And that just like you're putting blessings on a family that you didn't even know that is blessing you in the process. But yeah, that definitely surpasses probably hitting the ball.
By the way, you're uniquely qualified to answer that question because you've done both.
Right.
You've hit some of the biggest home runs in Baylor softball history, and that's why I wanted to ask you that question. Talk to me about life off the field. If you have a day where it's just Shay by herself or nothing's on the calendar, what are you doing?
So I'm definitely cooking. I love to cook. I love salmon, so I'll try to make something out of salmon either way. Or sometimes I might read a book, depending if the book is good enough though. I'm into like the TikTok books. Those are pretty good. Books? So the one like that ends with us, I'm gonna start. Those are like more of the TikTok books that I see are getting reviewed on TikTok.
So that's why they're TikTok
right
books.
Yeah.
See, when I was younger, Oprah had a book club.
Yeah.
Now we got TikTok.
Yeah, we got TikTok. Okay. So I kind of listen to those, see what the reviews are before I decide to go buy it and read it. I don't know. I'm pretty simple. I just make sure I work out, make my meals. So I'd love trying different things. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty chill. So
do you have like a cheat day, like a meal that like you just like, yeah, I'm gonna just take this down. It's something that I love.
A meal that's like a cheat day. So, I don't really know if it's called a cheat day. My cheat day would pretty much probably be going to George's.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would get like some appetizers and go about my day.
What are those appetizers they called? Like those like little they're small. They got bacon in them.
Oh my gosh, those are my favorite. And that's the only reason my parents come here and they would go to George's to only get those. Like
they are unbelievable.
Yes, they're amazing.
Yes. The bacon wrapped like
the
things.
shrimp. Yeah. Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah. I feel like to me it's like that's the only reason if I'm lucky enough to get invited to a wedding, sometimes they have those little hors d'oeuvres like that. I'm like, man, this is the best. All right, what are you watching right now? What are you streaming? Something that you're binging?
So I was binging Love Island. Not into that anymore. I am reading a book though called I think I forgot, like maybe apples don't fall far from the tree or something like that. And they have a show that's out. So I'm trying to like read the book and then watch the show just so I can see if it's even worth. So that's kind of what I'm binging right now.
What about music? You have to listen to something before a game to put you. Sometimes it's like hype music, and then sometimes it's like just what's going to put me in the right frame of mind. It doesn't have to be like hype music. What are you listening to?
What I'm listening to before the game. Yes. Okay. So before the game, I listen to this Christian music, but like rap Christian rap. So I listen to Forrest Frank a lot. I love him. And then I will listen to Kirk Franklin sometimes,
yeah,
of course, yes. But honestly, it depends on the day. But most of the time, it is Christian rap.
Okay, so you listen to Christian rap, and then even like when you're not playing ball.
Yeah, when I'm not playing, I still do listen to Christian rap. I'll listen to Chris Brown. Just kind of going with the wave of the music now. But yeah.
How have you grown playing for Coach Moore? Glenn Moore's just he's one of my favorite guys, and there's a lot to really like about him. One of the main things as somebody for me who's far away from the program is to see just the progress that you are able to make off the field. What have you learned about yourself, and how have you moved forward playing under him?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like definitely coming in, I was not as spiritually strong, and I feel like that I got baptized by him and Danny on our team, our chaplain. So just having those relationships, building my faith, building my relationship with God, allowed me to grow outside of the sport. And so sometimes, even if the sport's not going right, I'm able to take my identity out of the sport and put it in something else. And I feel like that was really big for me, especially going to the next level and trying to get better every year. So I definitely credit some of that for Coach Moore.
How much of your I love that answer. How much of your faith as a team did you ladies lean on, right, as you continue to enjoy what was one heck of a ride this season? There were moments, I'm sure, that were tense on the field and just trying moments. How did you use your faith to walk through those as a team?
Oh yeah. So we always carry this like wooden stick, but it's called our staff. So like Moses, and we mark it every time we see God in our life. So we mark it every time, and then we have meetings, like team meetings, sometimes before practice, where we share with the team, mark it, put the name by it or whatever, and then that kind of gets us leading into practice. And then we always have that on game days. We have selected a person who always has it, and then we'll leave it in the dugout just to see, everything that God has did for us, shown us, and that's kind of something that helped us lead. We do Bible studies before every Sunday game. That's helped us lead. And Coach Moore, he's just always like speaking the word, even during practice, at the end of practice, speaking the word. We'll pray. And he just leaves it always on a good note. Him, Coach Newman, all of our coaches pretty much, they're so awesome about making sure that, we're leaning into Jesus and not just into our sport.
Is there a part, something that's been trying for you that you've learned about yourself through over the course of your adult life?
Definitely. Last year, whenever I tore my labrum and I played through it, that was
Wow. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. But that was definitely a crazy, trying time. And then having surgery, and that was being my first surgery ever, not knowing how my body was going to react, not knowing how I was going to feel coming back. Like, I was very much on the fence about how if I was going to be the same player that I could be. And so having Coach Moore, Dr. Yarley mentally, and just my relationship with Jesus was like the only thing that was like getting me, some of the things that's been getting me through. And so knowing that I can come back from something that I feel like was so, trying in my time, that has definitely shown me a lot of what I could do, like off the field, for sure.
You consider it's made you stronger?
Yeah, definitely.
I got to ask you about Dr. Yardley now. Sports psychologist. Mm-hmm. How often are you able to check in with Dr. Yardley? Like how accessible is that for you?
Oh, she's definitely very accessible. I see her every Tuesday, so that's awesome during season, out of season. And if you need to talk or anything, you can just give her a call and she'll answer. So
so what if that is amazing, because I come from an era where finally now more so athletes are talking about mental health. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean you have to have a bad day to go see the sports psychologist. It just means that you're really you continue to build. How have you built a foundation for yourself as a young woman by seeing a psychologist, like something that surprised you mm-hmm. about the whole experience?
Definitely. She's just not in sport. That's definitely one of the things that was like, She's just not always in sports. She's in relationships, growing my relationship with my parents, with my boyfriend, and all those things. Like making me being able to communicate. Like those things are needed in life that we sometimes surpass. And she's definitely helped me realize like the little things matter. How you communicate matters. How like what words you use. So definitely just not in sport. That's one of the things that I definitely learned from that.
Where do you see yourself in 20 years?
In 20 years, I don't know. I haven't even thought that far, honestly. In 20 years, I definitely, though, I see myself, just being a very like successful woman with a family, obviously, and in research for sure, helping like the population that I feel like I'm going to grow for, like my love for as I go through graduate school and like, do the research and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I see myself.
A couple more things before I let you go. We mentioned off the top that you're a first-team All-American, which is unbelievable. What are some of the skills that have made you an All-American that you use off the field to succeed in life?
Communication for sure is one of the big things, knowing how to communicate.
Is this with your teammates?
Yes, with my teammates and, outside. Definitely knowing the person who you're talking to. I feel like that's a big thing, knowing, what boundaries you can step over, how to push people. I know that is definitely, I think my for sure is the relationship part. I wasn't really coming from Stephen F. Austin. I didn't really have that many relationships that I've built here. And I feel like that was one of the things that has carried and helped me carry into like life, everyday life, and talking to people and stuff like that.
All right, last one. We got a movie about you that's coming out, a major motion picture. Who is playing Shaylon Govan?
I don't know.
All right, how about this? How about after sitting and talking with you, you can play yourself?
Okay, yeah.
All right, we'll get you ready.
Okay,
we'll get you some acting
for sure.
classes and you can do it. Is there anything else you want people to know about you?
No,
Anything
not
I
really.
left out? Or?
No, it's pretty good. Pretty good questions. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll take it. All right, Jay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We are Rogue Media Sports.